Welcome to Q&A with Qlik. Today we're going to be talking about all things new to Qlik Cloud. Just to introduce myself, my name's Troy Rainey. I help put together videos and webinars like this one. And we've got a great expert panel for you today. I just want to go around the room and let everyone introduce themselves. Anita, how about you?
Thanks, Troy. So I work in Qlik Learning, and I've been here for 10 years doing projects like custom application training and helping the curriculum team, identify content. And really, the latest project that I'm excited about is the new Learn page in Qlik Cloud to help you learn content where you need it, when you need it. Very exciting project.
Eric, can you introduce yourself?
Thanks, Troy. Eric Thomas. I'm one of the principal critical support engineers here at Qlik. I've been doing support cases since 2017. So if you've been opening support issues for Qlik, you've probably worked with me.
Great. And Jandre?
Hi, Jan Kilian. I'm from South Africa, working for a Qlik Elite partner, and I'm mostly technical. I'm working with Qlik for the past 16 years.
Great. Vinay?
So I've been with Qlik for more than 5 years now, and I basically work with Qlik Cloud Analytics SaaS support side. So if you have any queries on SaaS side, you would have reached out to me on a case. So
Wonderful. And Swati?
Thank you, Troy. This is Swati. Like my role here is like a principal critical support engineer. I have been with Qlik from 3.5 years. I do support replicate and Qlik Cloud data integration.
Thank you. All right, first question. What is the recommended process for learning how to use Qlik Cloud apps?
I can take that.
Beautiful.
And if I could share my screen, I'm gonna share. Okay, let's see. Can you see it?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay.
Once you select the screen, there we go.
Okay.
Yes, we can see your
Okay.
tenant.
Perfect. Perfect. So, one way to learn, I'm going to show you a couple ways, but one way to learn is by going right in Qlik Cloud, and it's on the left-hand navigation. So we have the learn page for different types of users. The insight user is more going to consume information. The analytics user is going to be a content creator or developer. Data integration actually will have a learn page soon, but you can go to the home page for content. And for admin users, we have the learn page down here. And you can actually, if you need to change users, you can come right over here in this drop down and see content. So now I'm actually on analytics content only for content creators, developers, those types of users. And we have actually, if you would like a guided, more prescriptive path in learning, we have this learning path up the side, and you can click on tasks and you can open videos and lots of videos. You can click play if you want. Excuse me, sorry. Apologize for that. So like this video actually pulls from learning.qlik.com. So you could actually go in there and do a title search and watch the video outside of here. I'm going to come down a little bit. Here's all the content for this user, and it's organized visually by here's video and guided tours, which you can click on this and little pop-ups will guide you through your experience. I'm going to come down here. This goes directly to Qlik Learning. And I click on that. I can take the course in Qlik Learning. And if I wanted, I could go to a different course in Qlik Learning and like see product training. Maybe I would go in Qlik Sense. And then I would go through all these are just different learning paths that can help support Learning. Go back here. We also have links to help.com, which is very helpful. And here's the corresponding content, or you could do a search or use the left navigation to find additional content. And then I'm going to say the analytics, data integration, and admin users have these demo apps. When you click on a demo app, in case you don't have content and you're trying to learn, you could click on a demo app. It's going to install in your catalog, and then you can interact with it. You can edit things, interact, and really follow along the videos, or even many of the courses that you find in Qlik Learning. You could follow right along with that. And I'm actually going to show you too at the bottom, we have direct links to community if you need to ask questions, or tons of more content there. Qlik Learning, and then the customer portal. So we have links. You could just kind of go everywhere and get more help. If you want to narrow down the list, we have a great search feature, and you could actually go, like, I could add other users, or I could just search by types of content if I wanted. So,
Very cool.
yep.
I love it. Thank you so much. I'm so happy we finally got learning directly in the product. It's great.
Yep.
All right. Next question. How does Qlik differ from Power BI functionality?
Okay, I'll take that one.
Great.
So from a Power BI versus Qlik perspective, I mean, this is something that's always been going around, and I don't think it's ever going to go away. But from a Qlik perspective, it's a single tool, which ultimately allows us to do data integration, ETL reporting, as well as analytics. And the main power there is that association engine, which it's how our brain works, right? So it's not very linear BI, it's more associative BI. So yeah, from a Power BI side, if we need to build reports, you kind of need to go to Power BI Report Builder. If we need to do any ETL type of work, yes, we can do it within Power BI, but it's recommended to kind of do that in SQL or in Fabric. And then when we want to automate anything, you need to always go to like Power Automate. So where Qlik is a single tool that kind of does all of this, and Power BI utilizes the Microsoft stack, and they've got different products for those type of actions.
Great, thanks. And we also found, not myself, Vinay found this great comparison on Qlik.com. So I've sent you the link to that where you can go through and look at some of the features that are comparing the two different products. Great. Next question. How can I show rolling 4 years based on a field common year selection from effect? I guess that's like a table or a field. Anybody want to address that? It sounds like this would be set analysis, but
Yes, definitely set analysis. So there is a link there we go, to understanding set analysis and how it actually works. So ultimately what set analysis actually does is it kind of imitates a selection. It's not a real selection on the data, but set analysis would be the functionality to use to do that.
yeah, this link here I'm showing, it's a Techspert talk that I did with Ola Roxendal, and he had a great demonstration explaining all the ins and outs. So I'll share that link with you and you can review it. That's very helpful. Great. Next question. Is there a script log analyzer for Qlik Cloud? If you guys, this log analyzer is a tool that's been around for a while for on-prem. So it's a good question. Anybody have any ideas if that's available for Qlik Cloud?
I haven't seen the Qlik Cloud specific one, but we do have the evaluate performance within the Qlik Cloud.
Yeah.
So there might be a lot of content within there.
Great. And one question just came in. I read in Qlik Help that you can only use one active identity provider. Are there plans that you can use more than one? I've heard that question before. Anybody want to address that?
Yeah,
I can't really speak for the future. Yeah, go ahead, Vinay, if you want to take it.
no worries. Yeah, you can continue. So, from the support perspective, you can only use one active interactive IDP at the time. And as far as I know, there is nothing in the roadmap that allows you to create more than one IDP at a time. But instead of what they suggest is that create multiple tenants so that you can use different IDPs in a single license. We do have multiple tenant option with a single license. So it is recommended to use that if you want to use other set of users from different IDP onto your tenant and give them access to the data.
That's a great suggestion. Great. Next question. How to export Qlik Cloud app script using automation?
I can take that one.
Okay.
Depending on what you're actually trying to do, there's an export app button that'll or block in Qlik application automation that'll just export the whole app. You can do with or without data. There's actually specific blocks to interact with the scripts of an app too. So uh, you could use that block to get the script from an app and then do any kind of transformations or store it on GitHub or email it or export it out of the tenant however you see fit. So there are built-in blocks that would do that functionality.
Great. Next question. How is it possible to customize the analytics home with the company logo on the top left? I feel like I've seen that.
Yeah, we do have Qlik branding options available. Let me share the link. It has the step-by-step guide on how to apply the branding.
All right. So this is on Qlik Dev.
Yeah.
Great. I'll share that link with everybody. Perfect. Thank you. Next question. How can I use the direct access gateway to make ODBC connections to my tenant? Very good question.
Yeah, I can maybe take that one. Yeah, if you got the link we sent earlier, there's a guide on the help page for setting up a direct access gateway. It does involve a separate server, so separate from Qlik Cloud, or I guess you could do it on a slightly lower powered machine. There are the requirements on that page somewhere. Once you've done that, when you're creating new connections through the edit data interface, you can select the connectors that actually say via direct access gateway. And that'll originate the connections from your server. So if it's behind your firewall or your network, you can make those connections internally.
Fantastic. All right. Next question. How do we identify the usage of which dimensions or measures are being utilized by users when using the CRB in an app? We are trying to narrow down on a number of attributes to only expose those that are used and utilized by users. So trying to identify the fields that users are actually using in an app. Is that something that the app analyzer can do?
That's the first thing that came to my mind. I don't know if it hits that exact use case, but that's where I would start as the app analyzer, I think.
Yeah, the app analyzer definitely tells you selections that were made, sheets that are being used, etc. So might need to just do a bit of a deep dive on that to see if it actually does mention measures and dimensions.
Yeah. But great question.
No, actually, there's a nice automation that you can use that sets up all the monitoring apps on your Qlik Cloud tenant, and one of those would be the app analyzer. So if you don't have any of them, check out the templates in the application automation, and there should be one. Just type in monitoring apps, and it sets them all up for you. Very easy.
Great. Next question. How can I get a trial license to try out Qlik Cloud? It's a very good question. That might be something to address to your account manager. And if you don't have one, I believe if you go to qlik.com, the chatbot is ready to help you and get you the best contact. But because I know account managers tend to be region specific. So, but there's definitely licenses available out there to just give it a try. So please reach out on qlik.com or to your specific account manager. Next question. Is there an alternative to on-prem QVD previewer tools? So looking to be able to preview the QVDs, I guess. I believe in Qlik Cloud, if you have a QVD and you import it, you're able to preview the data. Am I wrong?
Yeah, I would concur with that. You can, if you find the QVD in your Qlik Cloud tenant, there is actually you can just view details on it, and you can actually view all the available fields. So it's built right into the product, I guess would be the answer to that one.
So, I mean, we have delivered that. If you go to the catalog features and then shows the profiling of the data is available when you go open in QVD. So they have merged that within the Qlik Cloud Hub. This was
Great.
raised as an ideation, and it was delivered a couple of years back.
That's fantastic. It's nice to hear about success stories from Qlik Ideation. Great. Next question. If you use a user-based license model and an identity provider, are the Pro and Analyzer licenses assigned via AD groups, as in Qlik Sense on-premise? Is a license assigned to a user when they log in to Qlik for the first time, or do all members of the group automatically receive a license? Or I guess a user entitlement. So talking about Pro and Analyzer, so we're not using capacity, right? With that
It's
type of license?
Yeah, I would say the default here is for it to not auto assign, but there are settings you can configure on your tenant to have it auto assign. You can actually toggle it on for both professional and analyzer licenses. So you could just auto assign analyzer licenses and then manually choose who you want to have the professional licenses. But if you go into the management console and settings, there's a flag you can turn on for both those settings.
Great. Next question. Where can we download Qlik Desktop? I know that's a popular software for developers. I had this link on GitHub. Is there a better one, or is this what you guys would recommend?
You can do it through GitHub, but we actually provide it directly from your Qlik Cloud tenant. If you in the very upper right hand corner, you have a if you maybe want to show it on your screen, there's a your profile icon. So yeah, TR. If you go to profile settings and then tools at the bottom there on the left hand side, there's a Qlik Sense desktop download. And
Beautiful.
then a button right there to help you authenticate it versus your Qlik Cloud license.
Thanks, Eric. That's great. All right, next question. Can you share more on the data flow roadmap? Will the functionality also go beyond typical ETL, such as text mining, PDF reading, text recognition, and images? I can say right away, roadmap questions, it's hard to say, but who's good with data flow? Well, this could be a good opportunity to bring up the ideation page. This is available on Qlik Community under support on the ideation. If there's some feature that you are depending on and would like to request and you don't see in the product, please visit Qlik Ideation. Here's where you can see suggestions for feature requests and improvements to the products that other customers have suggested. You can upvote their already submitted suggestions or submit your own. And our product teams definitely use this when it comes time to justify improvements to the product. So please visit this page. I'll send the link to you. And next question. Can Qlik CLI be used to manage and set up Qlik Cloud? Good question. Who wants to talk about Qlik CLI?
So the main use cases that I'm currently using in terms of Qlik CLI is getting some apps and stuff from on-prem into the cloud. But I've got a nice link that I'll quickly share over here that actually talks about how to actually use Qlik CLI for Qlik Cloud.
Yeah, that's great. And I even did a recent Techspert talk where Frank went through a demo of actually using it for some basic functionality. So it's a great tool. And yes is the short answer to that question. Next question. How is developing the self-service schedule going? Are slice 2 and 3 on track? I'm not sure exactly what you guys mean. Maybe we can get a follow-up to that, or do you guys understand?
I think it's a bit of a roadmap question. I haven't heard anything saying that it's been pushed back or delayed. So as far as we know at the moment, yes, it is on track.
That's good to hear. All right. Next question. Is there a way to notify subscribers when there is a new reload? So
Sure.
I guess,
I can
yeah,
take
go
that
ahead.
one. Yeah. Each app in your Qlik Cloud tenant, if you go into the catalog, there's an option to configure the individual notifications. So you could, specify for a particular app every time it reloads and was successful, or if it fails, to send you a variety of different messages. You can get emails, you can get in tenant notifications. I think you can even set up text messages. So yes, definitely.
Fantastic. And next question. Is there a way to move a QVD from on-prem to cloud without having to create a script? Is there an automation perhaps? Great question.
I'd most probably just use Data Gateway with the new direct file access. And that would not necessarily move the file, but we could actually access that same file from on-prem into the cloud. Obviously, you can just store the file again in the cloud to actually get the move done.
That's a great suggestion. All right. Next question. Is there a way to add users to the tenant without having to wait for them to access an invite first? That's a good question.
Troy, I can take that question. So yeah, we can add the user and we can grant the required privileges. So when we add the user, invitation will be sent, but user will be in inactive state until they accept the invitation. So whenever the user accepts the invite, they will get the required access.
I believe like if there's, it depends on the IDP, if there's tools to like just push users into the tenant, right? Without having to go through the invitation process. I've seen it with Azure. If you have Azure as at your IDP, you can use Skim
Okay.
to push the users into the tenant. And then they're, what's that status? They're called provisioned users, I think.
Yes, yeah.
Uh,
So the auto provisioning option is only available with Enter ID. So there's no other options. If you have, it's a premium, part of Enter ID that you have to subscribe, and it allows you to maintain the users on, Enter ID side and don't have to allocate the licenses or, adding or removing users from Qlik Cloud tenant. If you, remove or add users on enter ID side, they would be automatically synced with Qlik Cloud.
Great. There's a question. The next question is about how this would work with capacity-based licenses. And maybe we can turn that to more of a general question because I'm not quite sure what he's referencing. But how does capacity-based licensing work? If anyone wants to address that. Not everybody all at once, please.
I mean, I can give a brief explanation. So
That's great.
capacity-based licenses will have two types. One is the full user, and other would be the basic users. You get basic users for free, and you only have to pay for the full users. So basic users only with limited access to view the apps and then create and download Excel data from the sheets and stuff like that. They don't have any other additional capacity. So whenever you add more roles to the basic users, they are promoted to the full users and your licenses will be consumed from that.
Great, thank you. Next question. What is the timeline for the data integration education going to be added to that learning page? And if so, how would I be alerted that it's there?
I can take that, Troy. We already have some data integration content on there. And you could actually go into the data integration home and they have there's a couple of tasks, there's some content linked. You could also go into Qlik Learning and there's data integration content there as well. I would just check back because we're constantly adding.
Yeah.
We also actually on Qlik Learning, we have a what's new, so you could go check that to get a quick update if it's anything has been changed or added.
Yeah. So keep an eye on that question mark in the upper right-hand corner. Great. Thank you. Next question. Are there any tools to help migrate apps and data connections to Qlik Cloud from on-prem? It's a great question. So who wants to talk about that? We had
Yeah, so Qlik literally yesterday, yeah, as you can see over there, they acquired someone, and this is the new migration tool that is available from partners, and this specifically accelerates the move from on-prem to cloud.
Yeah, so we've got some great new tooling just
Yeah.
for that purpose.
Can't wait to use it.
All right. So we'll keep an eye out for that. Thank you very much. Next question. When setting up Qlik initially, what is the proper way to set up the foundation where tables and table relationships can be accessed by multiple users to build apps without having to go to the source to retrieve data? The purpose is to define alias for SAP field names to something the power user can understand so we don't have to teach them the table and field names. All right, so we're creating some analytics based on SAP data and looking for the proper way to build those relationships. So that was a long question, a bit of a mouthful, but we have some AI tools available to help you when you are adding new data connections to analytics. I'm not super familiar with SAP as a data source, but we offer suggestions on creating those relationships between fields. Anybody want to address that a little bit more?
I would definitely start with the data manager if you wanna adjust the table names and the table relations. So I don't have much info on what is the exact scenario, but I would start with the data manager.
That's a good
Yeah,
tip.
if I can most probably add to what Vinay is saying there, um, one of the biggest things that we want to actually accomplish in Qlik is to read data once and utilize it multiple times. So that is exactly where this question comes from, where we don't necessarily need to go to source to retrieve the data the whole time. We actually have that in a QVD. So it would definitely be either there's a nice script object within Qlik Cloud where we can build a script, we can do those transformations and save that into we call it a tiered architecture. So we'll have level 1, level 2, level 3, where level 1 would mainly be raw extracts, meaning we grab that raw data from source, save it. Then we might have a transformation step, which is a second tier where we grab that data, we change the names, and make it more user friendly, perhaps add some relationships, some key fields, and then it actually goes to a presentation layer. And for those end users, we want to give them access to that presentation layer where they can go to something like Amora, if we are talking SAP, or ECPO, which is your purchase orders or your material masters, and they could actually grab the field, the table just as a material master, drag and drop that into an application, or then using a data manager, like Vinay mentioned. And then, as Troy mentioned, Qlik would automatically associate those fields based on the keys and based on the values, and that then you'll have your application without going back to source, and your field names will be proper.
Great, thanks. Next question. What is the benefit of setting up data pipelines first versus just loading the data directly into analytics apps? So I guess it's a question of what's the benefit of having the data integration side of Qlik Cloud? Really? Swati, you're a bit focused on data
Um,
integration, right?
yeah, Troy. So here with the data integration, right, we can go with the full load and CDC as well. I think the question here is like, what is the benefit of setting up data integration?
Yeah. Versus just loading it into the analytics.
Yeah, I think directly into the analytics, they'll be going with only the full load, but with the data pipeline, we can go with full load as well as continue with the CDC in the landing phase, and in the storage, like we'll be reading from the S3 bucket, the storage layer onwards.
Yeah. Would you say it's a bit more having higher levels of governance on the data? So you're able to track changes and create transformations. You have like different
Yeah,
layers,
yeah,
I guess.
we can create the transformations as well. After transformations, we can do the data mart and all the stuff after that.
Okay, great. Next question. Is there a plan to have a NetSuite connector available in Qlik Cloud Analytics? I know we have a plethora of connectors that are already available.
I'm not aware of it being on any kind of roadmap. If it has a REST API, you can always access it via the REST APIs. If you're using a data gateway, you can use your own ODBC connectors. So if there's an ODBC connector for it that we don't provide, you could set that up and access it via a data gateway direct access. That's what comes to mind to me.
Good suggestions. And also, if it's not available and that's some sort of native connector you're really looking forward to, perhaps that would be a good suggestion to add to the ideation page. But it sounds like there are different ways to connect to that data already if you don't need that specific connector type. All right, next question. Oh, there was a follow-up to a previous question. I'll see if I can get this all to make sense. About the professional versus analyzer. I meant, do we provision professional versus analyzer type users in capacity-based systems through our IDP? My basic users don't seem to be able to consume any content. Oh,
I think maybe it requires a support case to look through the configurations and, have a better insight on the issue. Maybe raise a support ticket and we can help you out.
that's
Yeah,
it's a great suggestion because this sounds like a specific problem you might be having because my understanding is that, yeah, the basic users, that's the whole purpose is for them to be able to view content.
yeah.
Yeah.
What comes to my mind is probably permissions at the space level. So we have
Mm,
managed spaces and shared spaces. It's possible that the users don't have the can view permissions, or you need to set up the spaces so that anyone can view the space. That's the first thing that jumps out to me. But yeah, support case would probably be the best route there if that's not it.
great. And someone left a comment, set some auto assign permissions. I don't know if that was relevant to that question, but all right, next question. In a migration process from Qlik Sense Enterprise on Windows to Qlik Cloud, what will be the role of the new acquisition Cloud Cover? You guys familiar with the Cloud Cover acquisition? Was that
Yeah, that's the
that's what I
acquisition
just
that was kind of released yesterday.
that's
So
thank you.
I won't necessarily be able to answer this 100% correctly, but I know it's going to accelerate the migration process, right? From on-prem to cloud. So we don't exactly know yet what the role will be. Um, but for me, I think this is going to be a short-lived product until everyone's on the cloud, right? Because then there's no real need to have a on-prem to cloud migration tool.
But it sounds pretty awesome, and it's a tool that really simplifies that whole process. And yeah, so I think it will be great. It's a short answer for that. All right, next question. Can you create an application to serve as a launch pad to access other apps across other spaces, providing the user has access?
Yeah, it's possible. You can create a base app and create a sheet and create button inside it, and button allows you to, insert navigation links to other particular sheets or apps. If the user clicks on that button, it's gonna redirect them to the other apps that you have provided the links in the button. So this has been
Yeah.
there, yeah. It's possible to use to the buttons.
And that's
But
one really cool capability versus on-prem that you have in the cloud. You can redirect to different apps. That's a bit more of a technical leap when you're dealing with on-prem. Great. Next question. Can we just add themes upload option to the hub instead of having it in the QMC? Users generally don't have access for the QMC. So looking to upload themes and make that a little more
that the
accessible
yeah,
to
that
users.
yeah, currently it's a limitations. You can only upload it on the admin page. So it might be an ideation or there's something already there. Might have to check. But yeah,
Okay.
currently that's how the design is. Yeah.
Yeah, I think when they designed it, they expected admins to want to have control over the themes that are used. But
Yeah.
yeah, definitely check out ideation, see if there's any improvements suggested already for that, and maybe you suggest one. Great. And these are all great questions. Please keep them coming. But the last question we have so far, how can I get started with Qlik AutoML? Can you recommend any tutorials or examples? Well, AutoML is a really cool feature.
And actually, Troy, we do have a couple courses in Qlik Learning. You can just go and go into topics, product training, and then click AutoML, and there should be something there.
Nice. Oh, yeah. So on learning.qlik.com, you mean?
Yes, oh, I'm sorry. Yes, learning.qlik.com and click topics, product
Oh, topics.
training, and click AutoML. And there should be.
There it is. Fantastic.
And I've
put
actually gone through these. They're really good.
That's great. Thank you so much. All right, we got another question. In a capacity model for ClickSense, I can have many tenants. How can I move apps from one tenant to another? All right, I know there's some capability to do that.
Yeah, I mean,
I feel like I've seen
if
something
you
in
have,
automation.
yeah, there's an automation where you can move the apps from one tenant to another. I'm just searching for that link.
Sure.
But the number of tenants you can have, there's no limitation. So if you pay for more, you'll get more number of tenants on a single license.
Great.
Yeah, I
Well,
think specifically the platform operations blocks in application automation hit that feature that they're looking for.
Yeah,
great. Well, if
let
there,
me share the tutorial
yeah.
link here.
Oh, very cool. I'll share that link with everybody. And oh, great. We got one more question. With Qlik Cloud, is it possible to integrate Python? It's a little open-ended. You mean as like a data source, or who wants to talk about Python integration?
We have I can't remember I might have to find a documentation on it, but there are advanced analytics sources you can set up in your Qlik Cloud tenant, and one of those would give you the option to integrate, reach out to a Python server and, do those advanced analytics that you're looking for. Maybe this link would be a good place to start.
All right. I'll post that link as well. Great tip. Thank you. Next question. Is there a way to keep the stories, snapshots with latest live data rather than the static data? Otherwise, stories are not different from PowerPoint with screenshots. That's a very good point. I think that we added that feature because people were looking for some static reporting. But if you want something that's got live data, maybe instead of stories, subscriptions to charts, or I don't know. Do you guys have any other recommendations?
Actually, you could insert a sheet into the story and then that's live.
Ah, great idea. Wonderful. All right. Well, we're getting near the end of the hour. We've had
Hey,
some
Troy.
wonderful questions. Yes.
I'm sorry. I'm kind of going back to that AutoML question about I actually looked in product and you can go to the task and the learning path for AI and machine learning. And there's I see several things for Qlik Predict, which is the new name for AutoML. So you could actually go in product and also find content for that.
That's great.
I thought we had it, but I wanted to check before I said that.
Oh, look at that.
Yep.
Click predict.
So it's right there in product. Yay.
Lovely. Thanks for highlighting that, Anita.
Yep.
All right. And we got one more question sneaking in. In Qlik Cloud, I can manage who has access to different spaces. Is there a way to control the access to the apps not using section access? Well, it's designed to be able to hierarchically do it from a space, but I believe you can control the permissions on an app as well. Am I wrong?
It's typically at the space level. You can share just a particular app from a space. I don't believe that gives you access to all the apps in the space. That's the only thing that comes to mind. But usually it's those two levels. It's the space level or the row level data level via section access. But you can try sharing just the app itself. Just right clicking on it directly in the catalog and share.
Yeah. And section access gives you the ability to control the data that's visible within the app. But I believe, yeah, you can be specific about who you share the app with as well. All right. I'm just kind of pausing a moment. Oh, good. One more. Next question. Please share more details about Data Manager. Ah, you mentioned it. Now you got to talk about it.
I can share the help site link, which gives additional
Beautiful.
information what you can do inside that. And there's a learning link at the bottom of the page.
Yeah, that's a nice screen grab of what it looks like. You can see it's creating the associations there.
We also have in-product learning for that.
Yay! I'm a huge fan of all the in-product learning. All right. Well, thank you so much for all of your questions. Hope to see you in Qlik Q&A with Qlik session in the future. And I want to thank you again to our wonderful expert panel for addressing all the questions today. Thank you so much for sharing your time and insights with us. And I hope you all have a great rest of your day.
Thanks all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.